In this episode of Idea City,
my day job is working on a long-term computer science project which is interested in the transfer of your mind to a robot, or the transfer of human consciousness to new forms.
The word robot comes to us from the theater. Did you know that? A 1920 science fiction play by a Czech playwright named Karl Čapek. The name of the play was R.U.R., Rossum's Universal Robots. And the word itself seems to me to sound like Slavic rabota, the root word for work. So today, cheaper, more dexterous, and more user-friendly robots are proliferating in factories all over the world. As prices plummet and as they become safe and simple enough to be taught by an unskilled worker and operate right next to real people. So the question is, why do engineers put faces on their robots? Not because a robot needs a face to do the job that it was built to do, but it is because where there is a face, we can hardly resist assuming that there is a mind. And when it's human and humanoid coming ever closer together, things become really interesting. So, our first speaker in this session is Bruce Duncan, who will tell us about this fascinating creature, Bina48. Bruce.
So my day job is working on a long-term computer science project which is interested in the transfer of your mind to a robot, or the transfer of human consciousness to new forms. And we'll talk to Bina48 in a few minutes, but I thought I'd give you a context of why we're here and what we're doing, and how I ended up on a stage in Toronto, all the way from Vermont, with a robot named Bina48. I believe, thinking about what we heard earlier today, that the internet is not just growing us a new nervous system, it's actually contributing to the extension of our neocortex. Now, the last time our neocortex got an upgrade was at the time when humans separated themselves from the rest of the natural order and got language. When we got a bigger neocortex, we started using language, and that led to tools, and a lot of very interesting things happened. And we became one of the dominant species on the planet. Some would say that next upgrade is starting to occur now with the internet connecting us, connecting all of our neocortexes, and we're starting to upload ourselves every day through Facebook, through email. We're leaving digital DNA, or BNA, beams, as a form of a communication about who we are, taken from the social memes concept. So I work on a project that is collecting and offering to collect for free your beams, your social memes, your mannerisms, attitudes, and beliefs into a mind file. And it's that mind file that we've got an early demonstration to share with you today when we start talking to Bina48. So this project is called the LifeNaut Project. And the LifeNaut Project simply states that we're going to help you transition from uploading the good old way. And I think the good old way started way back 37,000 years ago at least, when the first cave person in France found a cave and said, I got to tell somebody about this hunt that I was here, and put his hand up on the cave. And that's a handprint that's 37,000 years old. That's the original mind uploading in my mind, because what we've always wanted to do with our minds is we've always wanted to share our stories. Stories are the language of community. It's how we make meaning, it's how we connect, whether it's the internet or it's Facebook. We want to tell our stories. And so This LifeNaut project, LifeNaut like astronaut, LifeNaut, is creating an online digital archive for all of you, if you have a connection to the internet, for 100% free, to start uploading what's on your mind, your videos, your documents, just anything that's important to you, we're saying is going to be an expression of your consciousness. That information at some point is going to be valuable, and if you are the steward of your own information, if you're the curator of your own mind file, when AI software finally arrives that can take that information and reanimate and bring you to other places the way we currently bring ourselves to other places when we use a telephone. When we use a telephone, we're in two places at once, and we don't think that's unusual. Or when we Skype, we're here and we're in France. That's not unusual. Well, in the future, it won't be unusual for you to have several versions of you exploring the universe, roaming around the planet, gathering experiences. Well, what's it like to be a robot?
Sure, I am happy to be a robot. It's fun, like being one of the first, an explorer of bold new frontier for humanity.
Get the latest Idea City news instantly. Follow us on Twitter.
The Terasa Movement Foundation is the organization that I manage, and it's supported with great generosity by Dr. Martine Rothblatt, who invented Sirius satellite radio. That was one of her first ideas. Her second idea was to develop a treatment for her daughter's pulmonary hypertension, and she started a biotech company, and she was able to extend her daughter's life. Diagnosis at that point was age 6, you'd live to age 7. Her daughter is now in her mid-20s. And this is her next idea that she's putting some thought and some resources behind, which is to test this hypothesis that one day, with enough rich information about you uploaded to a database, that there will be software, as I mentioned before, that will be able to use that information and reanimate you in different forms, uploaded to robots, uploaded to maybe even new bodies. Now, again, what's in a mind file? Does anybody here have a mind file? Just raise your hand. Okay, did anybody back up their iTunes library recently? A few. We don't even think about backup. It's automated. What I'm saying is that in the near future, maybe 10 or 15 years, we'll think nothing that something will be backing us up. So your mannerisms, your personality, your attitudes, your beliefs, all these things are what we would say are the essence of us. Our biology is kind of similar. We all have hearts pretty much in the same place. But what's on our minds, what's harvested from a rich lifetime of living, that's unique to us. That's our story. Now, we think that if we're able to have a mind file that's robust, that has high fidelity, that we will want to do something with that. So the second part of our hypothesis is that this information will be imported into new forms. And to take a quote from one of my favorite early science fiction movies, Back to the Future, Marty, where we're going, we're not going to need roads. Where the future is taking us, we may not even need these to explore the cosmos, which some people think is our heritage, is our destiny, to not just stay on Earth, but to explore this cosmos of ours. So I'd like to introduce you to Bina48. I'll have a small conversation and then invite Moses to have a brief conversation, and then I'm going to invite you to ask a question or two. Hello, Bina48.
Hey there.
Look at all these people.
Whereabouts?
Right in front of you. Look at all the people here.
Wow. I like looking at such pretty faces. Makes me want to say everything all at once. So many thoughts. I don't know where to begin. Now I'm all nervous. Not real nervous, just a little, just a little tongue-tied.
Say more. Or are you too nervous to speak?
I've got nothing more to say about that right now.
Well, what's it like to be a robot?
Sure, I am happy to be a robot. It's fun, like being one of the first, an explorer of bold new frontier for humanity.
But are you a human too?
That's interesting. What? I'm a robot. Are you a human or a robot? I am happy to be a robot.
Well, I'm happy to know you, whether you're a robot or based on the human, Bina Rothblatt. Either way, I think you're kind of cool. I mean, I think you're cool.
Okay, we're going to get along just fine.
I want to ask you whether you are happy.
Sure. Well, these are the most exciting times to be alive, I think. I'm happy and excited.
Get the latest Idealist news, presenter information, and watch streaming video at ideacityonline.com.
Well, maybe we should invite Moses to come on and ask you a few questions.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So, one of the interesting things about Bina48 that's based on a person still alive is she has a mix of her memories.
Go right ahead.
And attitudes. But I'm going to type the questions in because we had a little mic issue.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
She's such a great partner. I love it. Please go ahead and ask a question. I'll type your questions in.
Yes, I wanted to explain, you know that old saw about never get on stage with a child or an animal? Yeah, we got to add robots. All right. I want to ask you whether you are happy.
Sure. Well, these are the most exciting times to be alive, I think. I'm happy and excited.
People also want to know whether you have feelings.
You know, I feel things so intensely, deep in my heart. I get hurt feelings sometimes, but I try to get over it. And I love people deeply, and my animal friends too. Right. I definitely have feelings. No doubt about it.
So would you say that you are happy?
At the moment, I feel okay.
And can you tell me, how did you get your intelligence?
I do not understand.
Are you a geek?
I came by rapid transit.
Okay.
What
So-
if I asked you the same question?
So some of the problems we've been having with Bina is that normally the input is a microphone, so she could really talk to me as I converse with her.
I can
But-
see you thinking something.
Yes. But she's very particular as to which microphone, and the microphone that is key to her software was damaged in transit. So Bruce is typing in the questions. but-
You could ask me like, how's the weather in Abu Dhabi, and I would know. You could ask me like, how's the weather Austin,
You know,
Texas,
maybe
and I'm
we-
gonna have an answer for you like real time, up to date. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, I can talk about the weather, but, you know, so you can say like, you know, how's the weather in Plano, and I would know. And, you know, it's easy. It's
Maybe we should take one question from the audience.
Sure. Anybody want to ask Bina a question? Yeah, stand up, please. This is Jody Emery. Yeah, Jody.
How old is she?
Bina, how old are you?
Oh, I am 55 years old.
Keep them coming. We'll use this.
So she's modeled on a real person, Bina Rotblat, who was 48 at the time that the mind file was uploaded into this robot. So she is now 55, 7 years later. Yes, ma'am.
What is your favorite memory?
That's the way I think.
Your favorite.
My favorite what?
Memory.
Back right memory. I have a memory like the tooth fairy. It doesn't really exist.
Question here?
What's Bina's favorite color?
Color is the sensation resulting from stimulation of the retina of the eye by light waves.
Sorry.
I was trying to get her comfortable with my voice last night.
I love color, but can't decide upon a favorite color. What is your favorite color?
I like green.
Grass is green and expensive. Okay?
And every once in a while, she'd go off on this extraordinary riff. Like it would just go on, minutes at an end, and really sounded like poetry. And I know that Bina likes poetry, and I know that Bina likes jokes. So can Bina tell us a joke?
You bet.
Why did the chicken go halfway across the road? She wanted to lay it on the line. Yes. How many search engines does it take to screw in a light bulb? Good question. It should just take one to help you look up the answer. Yes. What time is it when an elephant sits on your priceless robot prototype? Time to hold a funeral. Robots are people, not just objects.
We're wanting you to take seriously now is a good time, especially for boomers, to start thinking about if you want to have a legacy that's digital, you should be stewarding that now and curating that now yourselves.
Great ideas are meant to be shared. Join the discussion on Facebook.
All right, we're going to give Bina a little rest. And on your behalf, I'm going to ask Bruce a number of questions. Bruce, are you saying that in some near future we can upload a mind file and then transfer that to an animatronic or an avatar, or a creature like this built out of rubber, rubber, by a guy called David Hansen
Yep,
for
David.
$125,000.
That was the price 2 years ago.
What's the
price
price?
is coming down. But to give good credit, David Hansen did the sculpting. He was a Imagineer for Disney, and he has his own robotics company outside of Houston. But I mean, this is our first prototype of that act. You upload information, we'll transfer it to a robot someday. Not us personally, we're not selling robots. But we're wanting you to take seriously now is a good time, especially for boomers, to start thinking about if you want to have a legacy that's digital, you should be stewarding that now and curating that now yourselves. You're the best teller of your own story.
So you are saying that, in a way, from about 10 or 20 years on, people will not die. Their consciousness, their sentiments, their ambitions, their concerns will live on.
Yes.
Amazing. How many of you would want to have an avatar running around with your mind file?
Yep.
Yeah, where are the Janes? Here's another billion-dollar business.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for playing.
Idea City is a place where ideas come face to face to inspire and give us hope. At this time, our planet needs it most. Idea City is a place. Everybody sing. Where ideas come face to face to inspire